Okay, Mr. President, we are at 4:30. If you'd like to begin.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Costa Mesa Sanitary District on September 28th at 4:30 p.m. I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance if everybody wants to stand. If you don't, you don't have to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Invocation, Bobby? Bob? Invocation?
Just a second, I'm muted.
Oh, okay.
No, this'll even be better second time. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Very good. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Director Arthur Perry.
Here.
Director Michael Schaefer.
Here.
Secretary Arlene Schaefer.
Here.
Vice President Robert Uten.
Here.
President James Ferryman.
Present.
Thank you.
Are there any announcements of late communications for us to examine?
Yes, Mr. President, we did receive communications from Mr. Mosier, which you should have a copy of his comments and questions, and we will be addressing his questions when the items come up tonight.
Okay, thank you. Public comments. We're gonna wait for, is Jim there at this time, or does he want to address the board later?
No, Mr. President.
Any other?
President Ferryman, I am here, and I did have a comment I wanted to make.
Okay, you're welcome to stand.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. This is Jim Mosier. I think this item on the agenda is for non-agenda comments, and I had actually 3 tonight. The first 2, I wanted to commend the district staff on some of the things that they've been doing. The first of those is I wanted to thank them for creating an election page that provides easy access for ratepayers in the district to see which divisions are up for election this year, who is running, and provides access to their ballot statements. I think that's very useful. One thing that's lacking is a way to contact the candidates if one wanted to ask them questions, but perhaps that was up to them in their ballot statements. Second thing, I wanted to commend the city staff on something I've only recently realized, which is in the board docs website. After each of your meetings, they have been very promptly posting written draft minutes of what happened at the meeting. I'm not aware of any other agency that actually posts draft minutes immediately after meetings. So that again is very useful, and especially useful because all of the district's minutes are very thorough and well written. Speaking of those draft minutes, though, I want to remind the directors so that they don't forget about it, which they'll find in the draft minutes from your September 8th study session, I think it was, my comment about the director compensation and the per diem that is offered for attending meetings other than board meetings, which, as it even says on your agenda, is supposed to be offered only if the attendance is as required by the board. And secondly, it's very clearly stated in the Health and Safety Code that a sanitary district secretary of the board is compensated in a different way than the other directors. And I think at some point a discussion and resolution of those matters is needed. Thank you.
Okay, how are we going to approach that? Or just we'll contact them later? Scott?
Mr. President, we will look into Mr. Mosier's comments about the secretary being compensated differently, and we'll coordinate that with District Council Alan Burns, and we'll bring back a report to the board.
Okay,
Yeah, I would just add that usually when the secretary is paid differently, it's because they do actual secretarial duties as opposed to having a district clerk like Olani who does that heavy lifting for the secretary. So the district secretary is pretty much a signature like the president is. And that's the real difference, I think.
well, thanks for clarifying that. Appreciate it.
And just one other matter, I'm flipping through it to try and find it, but I know that it does say at the request of the district, but the board has determined those meetings that are approved by the district so that, you can feel confident that that was a compensable attendance. And that's in the district's operations code where you may remember you've listed which meetings are eligible and which meetings are, and by, I guess by omission, if it's not listed, then you have to get permission. Or the district has to say, we want you to go to that. So if it's on the list, you get paid, and if it's not, you have to do something different. So that might help Mr. Mosher on that issue. But I don't have the full section in front of me right now, but it's in the early sections of the code.
Thank you once again, Alan. Appreciate it. Any other public comments?
Yes, Mark Monon, I'd like to say something, please.
You're recognized.
Thank you, President Ferryman. My name is Mark Monon. I'm the president of the El Toro Water District, and also I will make this quick in respect to your valuable time. I've been on the ISDOC Executive Committee for over 5 years and never missed a meeting. The person running against me hasn't attended any, and I'm asking at this point for your vote. I've gone beyond the call of duty. I'm Mike Shaver's alternate to OCOG, and also have, being that I was a past PCF fireman with the Orange County Fire Authority, I attend thanks to ISDOC, the Orange County Emergency Agency. So with that, I would ask for your vote, and thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Any-
Mr. President, I just wanted to say one thing. And he's helped me too, because I was membership, and he has helped me with the membership committee too. Good luck, Mark.
Thank
When
you.
would be- Should we have an outside discussion on this, or some
Yes,
certain
Mr.
time
President.
period? We need to
Yeah,
adhere
Mr.
to?
President, this item's on the agenda. You'll be discussing and taking action on this item later this evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move along. No other public comments? Okay, consent calendar. Approve consent calendar.
Second, or did anyone make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent calendar.
I thought somebody did. Okay. I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General Manager's report. Right?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. This is the item we just talked about a few seconds ago. We're casting a vote for one of the candidates for president of the Independent Special Districts of Orange County. So you have Mr. Mark Monon, which you just heard comments from just a few minutes ago, and then Lucille Kring, who's a council member and president of the Orange County Mosquito Vector Control District.
This is Mike. I'll move that our vote go to Mr. Mark Monon, the director of El Toro Water District.
I'll second that motion.
And I just wanted to comment too that, he has been so good, and this Lucille has not been to anything, but, he deserves this vote. And I definitely was for him. Thank you.
Well, it's been moved and seconded. Any other further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. We hope you win. Okay, general manager's report. Oh, that's what we already.
Number two.
Consider approving the budget adjustment for fiscal year 2000 or 2020 and transfer $36,816 from general fund to the transfer to the solid waste fund.
Thank
Move
you,
it.
Caitlin Travis going to give this report, and then this was one of the items Mr. Mosher had comments on, and she can address Mr. Mosher's comments as well.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Fiscal year 2019-20 is the first fiscal year the district budgeted and recorded the property tax revenues to the general fund instead of the solid waste fund. The district budgeted $320,000 in property tax revenues and have received $355,542. The general fund also received $1,274 in investment earnings for the fiscal year. During the budget process, the board of directors approved $270,000 to be transferred to the solid waste fund to continue to help stabilize rates, and $50,000 to the wastewater fund to contribute to the city of Costa Mesa for the portable restroom. After the transfer were made, the general fund has a balance of $36,816. Staff recommends the board of directors to approve the budget adjustment to transfer $36,816 from the general fund to the solid waste fund to continue to help stabilize rates. The reason I'm recommending to transfer is that's just how we've been doing this way, where the property tax helps stabilize the solid waste fund, stabilize the rates. The board of directors have alternative actions where if you want to just leave, like as Mr. Mosher said, to leave the fund in the general fund, or to direct staff to get more information.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Let's hear
All
from
those
Mr. Mosher. Let's hear from Mr. Mosher first.
Oh, okay.
He has a comment.
Oh, I didn't, well, obviously I didn't see it.
He submitted
Go
written
ahead.
comments.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yes, thank you. The comment was just a simple one, which was to confirm, once you make this, in the general fund, as the staff report said, the funds are unrestricted. You can do anything you want with them. Once you make the transfer, are they not then restricted? So if it's not urgently needed to transfer at this time, it would seem intuitively you would want to leave them where you have total discretion over using them, rather than to move them to a place where they're locked in and you do not have that discretion. That's the extent of my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion.
Can we ask Scott for a comment on that?
I'll defer that to Caitlin. I believe it's correct. Once you move that money into the solid waste fund, it's designated for that fund, and we can't use it for anything else but the solid waste fund. Is that correct, Caitlin?
That is correct.
This has been our past practice over the years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I guess it carries, but I didn't hear anything. Did everybody vote on it or what?
Yes.
Yeah, we all did.
Okay, thank you. Now we move to, is it number 2, approve board directors study session minutes?
No, Mr. President, we're at item number 3, consider approving the transfer out of $109,000 from the asset management fund and then transfer that into the wastewater fund and appropriate $109,000 to CIP number 332 for the Bristol sewer siphon repair. So we do not like doing this and keep coming back to the board requesting more money. Unfortunately, this project has been a nightmare of a project, to put it the least. It's been an extremely challenging project, trying to remove the concrete from the pipes. It is long and tedious, and it's just taking longer than expected. The concrete, I don't know, maybe Mike can maybe fill us in more where it's coming from, but it's just been years of buildup of concrete and debris, and it's just really hard. And there's a lot of water going into it, so they got to pump the water out, and then they got to remove the concrete. It's just a long and a very labor-intensive type project. So the contractor is requesting $109,000, additional $109,000. That money will complete the relining of both the lines and also removing all the concrete. So we're hopeful that this will be the last request for money, and this project will come to an end here soon.
Scott, I have a question.
Yes.
When they repair the lines, are they going to re-concrete those pipes or just leave them as is?
No, they're gonna put. If Mike, I think they're gonna slip line it. They're gonna put a cure in place slip lining.
Okay.
So there won't be. So in the future, there won't be any breaking off like it's doing right now.
Mm.
Okay.
Move approval.
I'll second it. I think Mr. Mosher has a comment also, though.
Okay, Mr. Mosher, go ahead.
Just for the benefit of the public who does not perhaps understand this as well as the board members, it is the concrete that is building up in there. Am I understanding that is coming from a lining of the pipe that is flaking off? Or is it some kind of construction debris that's coming through our lines that should not be there? That was the comment.
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. Mike, are you there? Do you know for sure?
Yeah, it's not building up. Someone at some point in time apparently dumped concrete into the sewer.
Okay.
And there's about 40 feet, or was about 40 feet of it in one pipe, and I think closer to 60 feet in the other pipe that nearly blocked the pipes.
Mm.
Are they close to completing that job?
Yeah, one of them is completely clear. The other siphon pipe, when I spoke to the contractor last week, he only had a foot or two to go on it, and then he was going to start the lining process.
Do you think this amount is justified?
Yeah, I do. It's a very hard project. The concrete is just extremely hard. It doesn't break at all. They just had to grind every bit of it off.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
I didn't know those facts. That's pretty, I'm glad that you told us about that. Someone dumping the cement in our line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Is there any way, obviously some contractor dumped it down. Apparently some contractor dumped it in there. Should we consider locking manholes or something? There must have been a lot of building activity in there, and they, middle of the night or whatever, they opened the manhole and they must have done it twice, because it went down one line one time and the other line another time. Or we just need to be diligent, I guess. Staff must have known about this for a long time, because they probably couldn't clean that area. But anyway, we may need some more recommendations, Mike.
Okay, just as a matter of course, the new manhole lids we're putting in do lock.
Okay, good. But do we have them on those siphons?
I believe we're going to. I'm not sure if they're there now.
Okay, good.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we are consider approving special holiday pay the day before, well, where did that go? Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Diana Bojarski is going to give this report to the board and also address Mr. Moser's comments.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Historically, as you know, customer activity at district offices during the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas have been slow. In previous years, the board has authorized a revision to normal operating hours for both of those days. Since 2010, district offices have closed at 12 p.m. on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and then at 12 p.m. on December 24th. This allows staff adequate time to travel to their destination during the busy holiday season. At the Board of Directors regular board meeting last November 21st, 2019, the board made the suggestion to staff that instead of coming back each year to request the approval to revise the normal operating hours each year, that staff bring it back to the board for consideration of making both of those days a full holiday for staff. Additionally, at the November 21st board meeting, the board also requested that staff determine how much activity occurs at the office on those days and then report back to the board. As directed, staff reported the requested findings at the March 10th, 2020 study session. The findings showed that activity on November 27th, 2019, the day before Thanksgiving, no permits were issued and only 2 members of the public visited district offices. Of those 2 visitors, one was a previously scheduled appointment with the permit technician or engineering technician at the time. The phones were unusually light on that day with only 2 telephone calls throughout the day. And then in 2019, on December 24th, the day before Christmas, there were only 2 phone calls throughout the day. There were not any permits issued and there were no members of the public that visited the district offices on that day. During the hours of office closure, staff had the option of either staying and working the full day while the offices were closed, or staff could voluntarily use their accrued leave time, such as vacation, floating holidays, comp time, executive leave. Staff is recommending that the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas be called special holidays, where employees will be paid their normally scheduled work hours as holiday hours on those 2 days. Staff believes that adding these 2 special holidays as part of the district's benefit package can be both enticing to job candidates. For example, the engineering district engineer that we are recruiting for, that would be one added benefit that may be attractive. It would also give staff additional flexibility while contributing to a healthy work-life balance and higher employee satisfaction. Currently, part-time employees are not eligible for holiday pay, so they would be excluded from these 2 days of pay. At this time, district employees have 10 paid holidays and they have 2 floating holidays. The floating holidays can be used at any time during the fiscal year of the employee's choosing. And the purpose of the floating holiday is to allow personal days that employees can use anytime during the year over and above any vacation or sick or other paid leave time. Floating holidays allow employees to take paid time off, for instance, when their religious or traditional practices don't match the federal holiday schedule. For example, Hanukkah, Passover, Good Friday, Lunar New Year, or for any other reason without having to use a vacation day for that. Floating holidays can also come in handy for unexpected events or emergencies. If paid time off has been exhausted, for example, if an employee has been out on pregnancy disability leave, they've exhausted all of their leave and need, when they come back, need to take time off, they can use a floating holiday for a doctor visit if all of their sick leave has been used. Any excess balances of floating holidays are paid out to employees at the end of each fiscal year. They don't carry over into the next year. And the benefit of having floating holidays is that staff has discretion on how and when to use that leave. If the board were to require staff to use their floating holiday for the day before Thanksgiving and the day before Christmas instead of deeming it a special holiday, then it would be considered a reduced benefit for employees. And what other local agencies are offering is Orange County Sanitation District. They offer paid time off the day before Christmas. Mesa Water has special holiday pay the day before Christmas and the day before New Year's. And then the city of Costa Mesa actually closes for 2 weeks during Christmas and New Year's Day holidays, but only Christmas and New Year's Day are considered paid holidays. And then Midway City Sanitary District offers their employees the option of selecting any date of their choosing for a paid holiday for celebrating their particular tradition, hero, or celebration of their choosing. And then they also offer, after 1 full year of service, employees are granted 2 additional days off, one for their birthday and the other at a time designated by the employee. Public comments received through Mr. Mosher note that the city of Newport Beach closes City Hall from December 24th through January 1st. Employees have to use their accrued leave time for that time, with the exception of December 25th and January 1st, which are fully paid holidays, along with the afternoons of December 24th and December 31st. Current district procedures for all holidays and revisions to regular operating hours include notifying the public by posting information on the district's website, signage in the front lobby on the doors, social media, and then a notice is also sent out through GoGov. Let's see, the estimated salary cost of adding special holiday pay is approximately $7,500 per day. However, there won't be any impact on the fiscal year 2021 budget. Staff notes that there will be a minimal savings in utility costs at both the district facilities as a result of closing all day on both of these days. And if the board approves this recommendation, staff will bring back an ordinance for adoption and inclusion in the district's operations code. And that concludes my report.
It's a good report.
Thank you.
Any question? Do I hear a motion?
Well, let's hear, does Mr. Mosher want to make a comment?
Yes, thank you, I did. I wanted to point out that comparing to Costa Mesa is useful. However, Newport Beach within its city structure actually has employees that are performing exactly the same functions as the district employees are, because the city of Newport Beach oversees a CR&R contract for residential pickup. And they oversee, I do not live in it, but they oversee a sewer system, which is exactly comparable in miles, pump stations, and everything else to the one operated by the district. So within that structure, there are exactly comparable employees, and they are currently receiving a total of 11 holiday days, as I understand it. I don't claim to be an expert on comparing benefit packages, but that total of 11 days includes the half day off before Christmas and New Year's, no holiday pay on the day before Thanksgiving. Although, of course, the Friday after Thanksgiving is one of their holidays. So it sounds to me like the district is already more generous, and with this addition would be even more generous in their benefits package than the comparable engineers or maintenance people in the city of Newport Beach. Thank you.
Okay, any comments or anybody have a motion or do?
This is Mike. I'll move approval of staff's recommendation.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Engineers report? Or Santa Ana River? Oh,
Engineers.
yeah, engineers report. You get the engineers report, please?
Mike, you there?
Sorry about that, I'm here now. Attached is the capital improvement project status report for the various projects we have underway now. Of note is the President pump station bids were opened on the 16th, and we're working now with the contractor to put together a contract and bring it before the board. And also, there was a site meeting today scheduled for the fairground smoke testing.
I'm in my board meeting.
And unfortunately, the contractor had some personnel issues and couldn't make it, so it's been rescheduled for later this week. So hopefully that smoke testing will occur next week.
Mike, the President Pump Station bid, I think we got good bids. It was near the engineer's estimate of what, $1.6 million.
Yeah, it was within 3%.
And we have the proper amount of funds budgeted to cover that and maybe the construction inspection.
Yes, we should. Yes, we do.
Okay, we just receive and file. That's
Yes, Mr. President, receive and file.
yeah. Anything else for the engineer?
No, nothing from me.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report.
I have no items this evening, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll only share with the group that the Attorney General has come down with an opinion, a clarifying opinion on the Brown Act that basically confirms what we've been doing. He says that you may respond to an email sent to you by one of your constituents as long as you do not hit reply all and copy all your board members with it. So as long as you don't do that, you're not violating the Brown Act. Obviously, if you send it to everybody, then you're considering a matter or deliberating on a matter outside of a properly noticed Brown Act session. The second matter he clarified is that when you put something on the agenda for discussion or consider or something that doesn't have an action verb in it, that you should not then take action on it unless you put a preface in all of your agenda that the board may take action on any of the items that it's considering or contemplating or deliberating on. So they just want you to be clear and alert the public that there's a chance you could take action on it. Otherwise, you should not take action on it. And I think this is basically the rule we follow, and it's sort of a common sense interpretation. But it's always good to know we've been doing it the right way. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Orange County Sand District, or you gave your report, didn't you, Alan?
Yeah, that was my report. Yes, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
President.
Okay, thank you. Orange County Sanitation District, not much is happening there, but well, I shouldn't say that. They're going out to bid on their new site, and that's going to be quite an undertaking. Also, they're conducting tours of the groundwater replenishment for other agencies around the county, and that's about it. So, Santa Ana River Flood Control.
Yeah, so you and I both attended that, Jim. And
yeah.
I'll give a highlight of it. We had a report from Jim McConnell from Washington. It was really good news that the Santa Ana Main Street project received $592 million from Congress next year. which is almost enough to complete the project, which
Wow.
includes Spillway, Norfolk
Great
Bluffs,
news.
Alcoa Dyke, River Dyke Road. The county must purchase the 39 to 40 properties before Prado Dam can be completed. So they're in the process of doing that, but the state subvention funds is almost drying up to repay the county. So we got a little bit of problem there. And Congress is out for the month of October for elections. And we had a report from the OC Public Works on Westminster Watershed Project. Project will be a long-term project. There are 20,000 structures that are at risk if there's a major flood. The cities that includes is Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, Garden Grove, Seal Beach, and Santa Ana are in the floodplain. So that was pretty good news too. At least they're working, got the plan in place. So those are the two highlights of the SARFA meeting.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you for that report. Independent Special Districts, Orange County, Mike?
That's me.
Ron Schaefer.
That's me, Ron Schaefer.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You don't
You
look
can't-
alike, I know that.
I was going to say, you can't tell the difference. Okay. First of all, I went to the ISDOC board meeting on Zoom, and the exciting announcement was that our district received Special Chapter of the Year, which is quite an honor. So out of all the special districts in Orange County, we got it. So that's exciting. We discussed ISDOC election, and we'll be running, and who's going to run for it. The treasurer's report was $12,944.62 in the bank. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a discussion on how we can help our special districts in our areas and what we need to do. I gave a report on CSDA, and Mike Schaefer gave a report on OCOG, and let's see what else. We will be having a general meeting, which is going to be a luncheon, and it's going to be on October 29th, and we're not sure yet, if it's Zoom or what we'll be doing, but you might mark your calendar for the 29th. Time will tell what we're doing. We discussed ways we can help on the district, and we're working on that. Anyone on, as you can see on the agenda, we have the slate. The slate, of course, is President Mark, and then I'm up for Vice President right now, and that's first Vice President. And then Larry Dick is up for third Vice President, and Eileen is from Irvine is up for second Vice President, and Greg Mills will be running for Secretary. And I already gave my comment on how I felt Mark should get our vote, so that was great. We're going to have that. Let's see what else. Oh, then I did the study session for Costa Mesa Sand District on the 8th of September. And on the 11th of September, I went to Waco meeting, which was, some of you might have gone. The speaker was Nancy Vogel. She's the director of the water portfolio. But actually it's, she says she's order N-10-19, which means she's governor's executive. And she explained the history of 7 acres that the governor is looking at right now. And there's a part of the portfolio that includes 6 pages of the Delta. And I do have the notes if anyone's interested in seeing it. It's too long to get into. She said in closing that after another year, at the end of that year, she'll come back and she'll tell us what has transpired during that whole year. And then on September 15th, Director Uten and I went to a 1-to-1 with the general manager. And on the 23rd, the water policy meeting. Some of you might have gone to this. It was a Zoom, and the speaker was on Delta Water Master, and he was fantastic. Michael, Patrick, George, and I don't know where my phone is. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay. He spoke on the Bay Delta, and that was on September 23rd. And it's a virtual water series on Bay Delta. And it was from 10 to 12 o'clock in the morning. And he is the water master for the Delta. He talked, his talk was everything from the history to planning for 50 years of what's been going on and approving different areas and the effect of north and mostly south alternatives and future of the planning. Actually, he said that the South, which we all know, has the bigger concern on the Delta. And so he went into that some. And that was it. Sorry it was so long, but that was my life.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, there's nothing to report on SDRMA. We have a board meeting in November and some safety awards to do in October, but nothing to report, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Any other meetings that are reportable?
Yeah, I had a couple, but basically with Arlene Director Schaefer talked about Waco, and they had a report done that established 11 goals, and basically it was the overarching goal was drinking water for everyone. We had a SSMP meeting. It was the sanitary sewer management plan. And it's a very broad, very large plan, and the idea is it's part of the waste discharge requirements that were promulgated in 2002 in our local basin, and then taken statewide in early 2006. And basically, it has had significant impact on reducing the volume and the occurrence of sanitary sewer overflows. I was in charge of that for the Orange County Sand District, and the SSMP sanitary sewer management plan was the brainchild of our former district engineer, and he should be given most of the credit for the significant reductions in volume and number of sanitary sewer overflows, which has substantially improved the public health of the entire state of California. We did have, let's see. I think Arlene covered most of the meetings that I attended also.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to add one more thing I forgot to bring up.
Okay.
I'm running for the CSDA Executive Board as secretary. And the agenda was to come today, but it didn't, so I can't tell you if I'm the only one or if there's more people running. And
I don't want anything.
we'll know pretty soon. Anyway, I just want to comment on that. And the only ones that vote on that, anyway, it's closed already, and the only ones that vote on that is the board itself and CSDA.
Okay,
Hey, Jim, I have some meetings that I attended, but what I did is I typed it up. I'm going to include it with my package that I send to Nalani for the permanent record, but I attended on September 1st, the city council meeting. I think we have to look out closely is on 9/2, the city Adam Street improvement, which could affect us. It's a project that's about 3 years away. It's going to be putting bicycle lanes and sidewalks in both sides of Adams from World Palm down to the river jetty. And I think we have to take a good look at that because they're going to be digging up a lot of the different things. There's going to be underground lighting that goes in and other items. So we should be looking at that closely. And I also attended the study session, the Waco meeting, the special board meeting, and this meeting, besides the ones I already gave a report on. But I'll attach this with my thing that I send to Alani for a permanent record.
Okay, thank you. I did attend the OCOG meeting, and we're working feverishly on the bicycle lanes down there and transportation and homeless. They said that Orange County's got 7,000 homeless, and LA's got 60,000 homeless, and they've got refunding that is available to help alleviate that problem. Let's see. Obtain a certification and strategic plan. I've said this before of them down there, and they're very aggressive and they're getting things done. So I wish OCOG was a little quicker than they are, but I think with this new leadership we have at OCOG, it's going to be good. So that's all I have. Where are we here? Old business. Anybody have any old business?
No, I let's see, on the Orange County 10 district, I believe there was an item that records management process, and I think in the future, Scott, I think we ought to be brought up to date on what our records destruction management or whatever it is process, and a future study session item. Records destruction resolution or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, they have a policy, I think.
Yeah, no, and that's what reminded me, Jim, was seeing that on the.
Yeah, they have a policy that how they dispense of them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Old business, new business.
I have one thing, Jim, for new business.
Okay.
I was looking at that Cal Recycle report from the AB 1826 that 90% of the businesses in multifamily waste generators require to recycle organics by December. So I thought, I didn't know if anybody read that, but I thought it was pretty important for us to know.
Yeah,
cities have to be aware of that.
Yeah, I think we should have that as a study item because there may be language in there that it's jurisdiction dependent, and so if Costa Mesa doesn't, Costa Mesa may opt out just by not opting in, or so I'd like to have some more explanation of that also.
Scott, did you see that?
No, I did not.
It was on one of my emails that I got from Cal Recycle, and I looked at it. I said, "Hey, this is something that might be important for us."
I'll look into it.
Okay.
Okay. Oral communications and director comments. If that's the case, we don't have a closed session, I'm assuming.
I did want to say one thing. I wanted to thank the directors for putting my name up and approving me through your letter that you sent. and for ISDOC. And so far, it looks like I'm running unopposed, which is very interesting because the people who are backing me now like me. And before, it was a little different. So anyway, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other business, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you for your attendance, and let's keep up the good work.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good job. Good night,
They
everybody.
will-
Thank you.